Snapdragon 660, a dewdrop display, and with a starting price of just 14,000 rupees, the Realme 2 Pro seems to be the phone that you should be buying this year. But then, is that the case? Is the Realme 2 Pro really a good phone to buy? Well, hey guys, it's Gizmoddict here, and today I'm going to review the Realme 2 Pro. And by the end of this video, you guys will be able to figure out if you should spend your hard-earned money on this phone or not. But then if you're here on the channel for the first time, then please consider subscribing and press the bell icon so that you don't miss out on my new videos. Because I really spend my hard-earned money on buying these phones and reviewing them, so if you could do that, it would support the channel a lot. Now let's get started with the review of this phone. So actually I got my Realme 2 Pro in the first sale, so that was like a month ago, and I have been using this phone since then. And I have to say that Realme has genuinely outdone themselves with the Realme 2 Pro. When they launched the Realme 2, I was quite disappointed with them because it's honestly not an upgrade from the Realme 1, but they've done a very good job with the Realme 2 Pro. What I like about Realme is that they make some very good looking phones. They might not use the best materials because the Realme 2 Pro is still made out of plastic, but then their phones do look very attractive. The design as well as the colors are very attractive. In fact, every time I'm using a Realme phone, people keep asking me about it because it catches their attention. So yeah, Realme does a great job in designing the phones as well as the colors that they choose, and I really like this ice blue color on my Realme 2 Pro. It's one of the best shades of this phone. In fact, I think that the Realme 2 Pro is definitely one of the best looking phones in this price bracket, right next to the Honor 8X. I really like this phone, but then Honor 8X definitely looks better. And like I said, it's made out of plastic, so it doesn't feel the best in the hand. I mean, all of the other phones in this price segment either have glass or metal, but then it's not as bad as you think. Don't worry, it's not going to break in 2 years or anything like that. And honestly, I don't have a problem with the plastic body. It definitely doesn't feel as premium as the metal built phones, but then it looks very nice and it catches people's eyes. So if you like that, you will definitely like the Realme 2 Pro. Although one thing I would like to mention is that it is a fingerprint magnet, but Realme does give you a transparent case, which is actually very nice. But the weird thing with that case is that it has a plug that covers the USB port. I don't know why, because there is no water resistance on this phone, and that plug is actually quite annoying when you're trying to charge the phone. But then it's there and they give you a case, so it's actually quite good. But the most eye-catching feature is actually on the front of this phone. You've got a dewdrop notch here, and I absolutely love this design element. In fact, I think this is one of the only phones in this price bracket that gets a dewdrop notch, and I like it. And Realme hasn't cheaped out in the display as well. You've got a full HD plus panel, the colors are good, the saturation is good, and overall I do like the display on this phone. Realme has done a good job, and you can even hide the notch if it's an annoyance to you in the settings, so they've taken care of all of that, and I overall like the display of this phone. I absolutely love the concept of the dewdrop notch, and I think more and more phones should get it. But then one thing that I didn't like is that even though you've got a full HD plus display here, the problem is that this phone only supports wideband L3, not L1. So apps like Netflix and Amazon Prime will only work up to 540p. So yeah, even though you have full HD display, you can't enjoy full HD content in those apps. But then YouTube and Hotstar I think work fine, so yeah, you should decide for yourself. But then overall I like the design of this phone. It looks great from the front, it looks great from the back. It might not have the best materials, but overall Realme has done a great job for the price. Now let's talk about the highlight of this phone, performance. While every other phone in this price bracket has a Snapdragon 636, Realme is not following the herd, and they've thrown in a Snapdragon 660 for only 14,000 rupees. Amazing, right? And this phone performs as expected. Even though they've underclocked the CPU a bit, instead of 2.2 GHz, it's 2 GHz, but you're not gonna notice in day-to-day usage. Gaming performance is great, multitasking is great, the memory management is very good, and I have no issues in day-to-day usage with the Realme 2 Pro. It's a champ, and the raw performance out of this phone is amazing. Especially if you're gonna play a lot of games on this phone, you should definitely consider the Realme 2 Pro because the Snapdragon 660 gives it that added advantage over the 636 phones. Honestly, I do feel that the performance is worth every penny on the Realme 2 Pro. But then here comes the dreaded part, ColorOS. Everyone just gets pissed off about ColorOS, and I can understand because it's one of my least favorite interfaces as well. I mean, 2 steps to clear the notifications. Seriously, that's one thing that we don't like in iOS, and you have to copy that on ColorOS. Honestly, Realme, I've been tired of telling you this, but please get rid of that. Give us a one swipe to clear notification gesture and be done with it. On top of that, ColorOS is actually a very heavy interface. I didn't find it to be very smooth on the Realme 2, but then the Realme 2 Pro has a very beefy hardware, so it was very smooth and it was able to handle it easily. But yeah, there is still room for improvement. They can make more optimizations and make it better, like EMUI or MIUI. It is a very feature-rich interface though, and honestly not everyone is going to be a software enthusiast who likes stock Android like you or me. An average user would actually love the features that you have on ColorOS and they will get used to it. So is it a deal breaker? I don't think so. A normal user is going to get used to ColorOS after they use the phone for like a day or two. So I don't think it's a deal breaker, but if you're an enthusiast, there are a couple of things that you won't like on this phone. First of all, camera to API is disabled on this phone, so you cannot use Google Camera, and this phone really needs it, but more on that later. The second reason is that Realme currently is not allowing any unlocking or rooting to this phone, so you can't unlock the bootloader and do things to it, which a lot of enthusiasts like. But then apparently Realme said that they are working on it and it's going to happen soon, but then I don't know how soon is that soon. And the third reason that I don't like ColorOS is that updates are pretty slow on this. So it's still on the September security patch, it's November now, and they have said that the Android Pie update is going to come soon. But then once again, I don't know how soon is soon, so I can't tell you when this phone will get Android Pie. So yeah, no camera to API, no rooting or unlocking the bootloader, and slow updates. If these things are going to matter to you a lot, then maybe you should have second thoughts about the Realme 2 Pro. Talking about the cameras, there is a 16 plus 2 megapixel dual camera setup on the back and a 16 megapixel sensor on the front. The camera performance of the rear facing camera is actually pretty good. It produces natural colors and overall I liked it. In fact, I've made a dedicated video about this comparing it to the Honor 8X, so I'm going to throw a card as well as the link in the description box so that you guys can check it out. Even though I like the camera performance on the Realme 2 Pro, I think the Zenfone Max Pro or the Nokia 6.1 Plus will do better with Google Camera, especially in low light now that night sight is coming to these phones as well. Plus, where I was genuinely disappointed was with the selfie camera. The edge detection is so bad compared to the other phones in this segment, and I had a similar experience with Realme 1 as well. They should definitely fix this. This is why I feel that this phone badly needs Google Camera, because there is a lot of left out potential. But it is what it is, don't expect mind-blowing camera performance. In terms of video, you can go up to 4K, but then electronic image stabilization is only available to 1080p. And there is no option for 60 FPS video recording. So yeah, you should consider that if you take a lot of videos on your phone. Moving on to the battery life, here's where I think all of you are concerned, because the 3500 mAh of battery doesn't sound a lot on the Realme 2 Pro. But then the thing is, ColorOS doesn't give you a screen on time, so I don't have a number here, so you have to take my word for it. But then based upon my testing, I can definitely say that this phone will easily last you one day. It's a one day phone from morning to night. You will be able to get through your working day, and I've had no issues with the battery life on this phone. It definitely is not the best in this segment. I mean, there are other devices with better battery life, but then it's not pathetic either. So I don't have any major complaints about the battery life on this phone. It's good and it gets the job done. Plus the 2 ampere power brick that Realme gives with this phone charges the phone in under 2.5 hours. So no complaints with that. Although I do think that it's high time that these manufacturers like Realme and Xiaomi start shifting to Type-C connectors, because almost every phone in this price segment is coming with it. So yeah, Asus, Realme, Xiaomi, all of these manufacturers should now shift to the USB Type-C connector instead of the micro USB port. The call quality and network reception on this phone has also been good. You've got dual SIM cards, you can use dual VoLTE, and there's a separate memory card slot as well. You've also got a fingerprint sensor which is very fast and quick to use. And you've also got Realme's Face Unlock, which is also very fast. I mean, it's definitely the fastest in this segment and I really like it. Realme's done a great job with it. And you can also use the Face Unlock as well as the Fingerprint Unlock feature to lock your apps or to hide your data and so on if you are interested in all of that. So then what's the conclusion? Overall, I think that the Realme 2 Pro is a great all-rounder. It does a lot of things right, specifically with respect to performance, and if you can live with ColorOS and a slightly inferior camera performance, I think Realme 2 Pro is a great phone to buy for 14,000 rupees. I mean, it's got Snapdragon 660 for 14,000 rupees. If you play a lot of games on your phone, then this is definitely a no-brainer to buy. So yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite phones under 15,000 rupees, and if you're considering to buy the Realme 2 Pro, I hope you have been able to make a decision now. I honestly had a great time using this phone. It's got its upsides as well as some of the downsides, but then I think it's one of the good phones under 15,000 rupees. So yeah, if you are considering to buy the Realme 2 Pro, I hope I've made the picture clear in your head and now you can take a decision of whether you should buy this phone or not. Do let me know in the comments whether you would like to buy the Realme 2 Pro or you would pick some other phone in this price segment. Talking about other phones in this price segment, my review of the Honor 8X is also coming really soon. So yeah, if you're new here, then definitely subscribe and press the bell icon so you don't miss out that video. And if you liked watching this video, then please hit the like button and please share it with your friends. For more behind the scenes content, you can also follow my Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages. That's all for now. Thanks for watching and I'll be back in your notifications very soon. Peace.